Hey everyone, welcome back to Comic Book Corner. And guys, we're getting ready to do another comic book review. That's right, guys. And this is a book that actually I think came out last week, but I decided to go out and get it. I looked at it last week at the comic store and I'm like, man, what a great looking cover. And then I'm like, you know what? This week I went back to it and I'm like, this just looks awesome. I think I'm going to have to purchase it. And it is this book right here, Injustice Gods Among Us. And just by the cover art alone, it infatuated me. I was like, wow, this is freaking great artwork on here. And not only is it about your favorite DC characters from the Justice League, it has to deal with like the creators from Mortal Kombat, and you can't get any better than that. I mean, seriously, Mortal Kombat, I was like 15 years old when Mortal Kombat came out, and I was like a huge freaking fan, freaking at the arcade all the time, beating people up and just doing fatalities and all that other stuff. And then I know the DC Comics and Mortal Kombat game came out, a few years back, and it was pretty cool seeing that too. But what I liked about this book is that it takes place 5 years before the game or years before the game, and it has to do with your characters from pretty much like they're the new characters, but from the 52, but they got that classic feel to it. And that's what I liked about this book. This was better than the Justice League. This was better than anything. If they made this an ongoing series, which I think this is a mini series, dude, I would be so on to this thing. This book is just, this was a great read. One of my favorite books. And, oh God, it was so great. The writer is Tom Taylor. And the only thing that I did not like about the book the most was that the pencils changed. There was 3 different pencilers in the book, and that's what I was fond of. And they're Jeremy Rapak, Mike S. Miller, and Axel Gemenzis, sorry. And that was the only thing that I did not like. The artwork in the first artist, pages 1 through 15, was the best art for me. But nevertheless, the story just made up for any lack of art that thereof. And not that it was really bad. I just like when there's one artist on a book consistently. So it doesn't kind of interrupt the flow of the story and have you going, what's this, but man, this was phenomenal. This story just basically has to do with it being 5 years ago, and Clark wakes up, and this is what I love about this, and this what really makes you miss the old Superman and Lois Lane, because in this book they're together, and Clark wakes up and he hears 2 heartbeats, and with his super hearing, it's like, oh man, what can that be? And you realize that he says it right away that she's pregnant, and he's all excited about it, and he's just like, oh my God, I have planning to do. Nothing's going to be wrong in the first trimester. He's all pumped up and ready to go to have this baby, And Lois is trying to get his attention, and she basically throws a book at him to try to get him to focus on what's going on. And it was really nice to see the relationship between these two, because you have not seen it in so long. And this is what I liked about the artwork in here. Clark was, proportionately done right. Lois, beautiful face, nice humor, and these two were just drawn nicely to each other, So really good. So you find out that she's pregnant, and as the issue goes along here, you find out that Jimmy is taking care of Lois and making sure that she's okay, because she has a project to do for the Daily Planet or whatnot. And you see this mystery character in this hat. Now this book has been out for a week, so I'm probably going to spoil a decent amount. But if you don't want to see the spoils, just fast forward through certain sections. So I'm going to spoil this right now. So right away, the person in the hat, the mystery person in the hat, is none other than our famous Joker, and he's with Harley Quinn. And this is another great thing that I loved about it: the Joker and Harley Quinn together again. And right away, the Joker puts a bullet in Jimmy's head or whatever it is. He kills Jimmy Olsen. You're like, dude, no way, he kills Jimmy Olsen. And this is good stuff. This is like DC having some balls. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, since they have like this alternate universe, it's like okay to do this, and they'll never do this in the real universe. And that was the one disappointment that I had with Batman. Basically, nobody dies, and I didn't go into big detail spoilers on that review, but I like seeing when a comic book has balls and killing the main character, and that was my little bit of a pet peeve there about Spider-Man, or Batman. But nevertheless, here Jimmy Olsen dies, and you're like, oh man, and Superman's just like, what? He's got this look on his face. He's like, holy crap, man, And the next thing you see is that we find out that Jimmy Olsen has been killed, but Lois has been captured. And so they set out this huge, the Justice League just sets out this huge mass missing person alert. And they're getting everybody from the Justice League. They got Cyborg, they got Wonder Woman, Green Lantern is in, and they're just looking out for her. And obviously the Flash is involved, and when the Joker's involved, there's all kinds of toxins and other things that are involved in the whole thing too. But they find out that she's in this submarine, and Harley Quinn names it Gunther, which is so funny. But Superman goes apeshit. He sits there and just destroys the submarine, and he finds Harley Quinn and the Joker are doing some kind of operation, and he's like, no, he's like, what did they do? He starts freaking out, but he has his Joker toxin comes up, and the next thing you see, it's mixed with Scarecrow's fear toxin or fear serum, and the next thing you see is he sees Doomsday, and Doomsday's just like, Superman, and it's just like, he starts freaking out, dude, and he's just like, roar, and he's like, no, Lois, the baby, and Harley Quinn's like, baby? Yeah, they didn't know. And Superman's like, stay away from them. Next thing you see is you see Superman go out and to take Doomsday, and he's like flying him out into space up there. And what's it called? And Green Lantern comes in, stops Harley Quinn, stops the Joker, and Wonder Woman wants to use the lasso of truth to find out the truth from the Joker, and Batman's like, no, I don't want to find out all the sick, perverted things. It's just he's so against about hearing the truth about the Joker and stuff like that. Those two just have this history. And they finally find out that the toxin is laced with kryptonite, and what happens is it's Joker toxin, so making him see that it's really Doomsday, but it's not Doomsday, it's actually Lois. And Batman's trying to warn him, you gotta stop bringing him up in the air. It's not what you see. Don't believe in what Joker's image has shown you. He's like, that's not Doomsday. And again, this is huge spoiler, and he finds out that it is Lois, and she's up above the atmosphere. And the next thing you hear is that, and then two heartbeats coming from one person. It's Lois. And then it's just like, oh no. And then she could die, the baby could die. There's the heartbeat stops beating, and the missile starts launching, and the Joker is just like, boom. And the next thing you see is there's this whole bomb going off, and you see the Daily Planet and everything else, and a big mushroom cloud. And I was like, oh my god, and it's to be continued. And I was like, holy crap, This is nuts. You got Superman, you got Batman, you got Superman and Lois Lane together. Jimmy Olsen gets shot. Doomsday's in a thing, but not really. It's Lois, and she dies, and the baby dies. And you're like, holy crap, and the whole world's getting nuked. You're like, oh my god, what else can happen in issue 2? I mean, there's so much that happened already. This was a phenomenal book. I can't believe I did not know more about this earlier. Where the hell was I this whole time? But seriously, this is a 5 out of 5 book. And you really do have to read it. I know I gave away a decent amount, but you have to read it to really appreciate the book. It is so good. Guys, go out and buy this if you can still find copies. This is the best DC book I can say right now that is on the market. Buy any 52 book. I don't care what anybody says. You can prove me wrong in the comments below, but this was so much fun to read. So guys, go out and buy it. And until then, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And guys, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner. Take care, everyone. I'll see you real soon. Bye.